Oracle is one of the biggest purchasers and developers of these data centers optimized for artificial intelligence, a category that's growing by the hundreds of billions of dollars over the next several years. And it just made a huge announcement that it will be purchasing AMD chips for these new data centers instead of, or maybe in addition to, more likely in addition to, Nvidia chips for these servers. Now I'm going to discuss what that could mean for AI stock investors, AMD especially, and Nvidia overall. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. So according to Bloomberg, AMD landed a major order from Oracle for its forthcoming MI450 chips, a sign that AMD is gaining market share. But still, AMD is a relatively small percentage of the overall market. Oracle will put 50,000 of the semiconductors in data center computers starting in Q3 of 2026, according to a statement Tuesday. The systems will contain AMD processors and networking components. Remember, AMD recently acquired ZT Systems, which helps the company with the networking component part of the data center build. The announcement is the latest in a frenzy of commitments by big tech and AI companies to build more computing infrastructure. Remember, companies like Oracle, Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta Platforms have all announced that they will be spending hundreds of billions of dollars on building these data centers optimized for AI. And next year they will spend more, and the year after that they will spend more, is what they're telling investors. They're also telling investors that demand for their end customers for this technology exceeds supply. So you're in a situation right now with this market where not only are they building aggressively hundreds of billions of dollars worth, but still, even after all that building, there's still more demand than there is supply for this computing power. That's why these companies are building so aggressively, because they're listening to their customers who are asking them for more and more and more. And they keep supplying more, and the customers are asking even more. So we're in this positive virtuous cycle here where advancements in technology are creating further demand, which is creating more advancements in technology, which is creating more demand. And we're on this early stage of this build out of this new technology. This is what was going on with CPUs a few decades ago. I want to say 2 decades ago. But those advancements slowed down considerably in recent years, where next generation CPUs were not that much better than previous generation CPUs. Whereas with these AI accelerators, these GPUs, graphic processing units, each generation is making significant strides forward, which is then developing new possibilities, which is then creating more demand. And we're still in the early stages of that, given that these AI accelerators are relatively new. So I mentioned that AMD is still a small part of this market. In the second quarter, AMD shipped about 100,000 AI processors, according to research from IDC. Nvidia, meanwhile, delivered 1.5 million in the same period. So Nvidia is delivering 15 times the amount AMD is delivering. Furthermore, Nvidia is sold out. Companies are looking to AMD to just offset the dominance of Nvidia. AMD is second best and by a large margin behind Nvidia in this technology, but is making significant advancements. AMD has done this before. Even with CPUs, when it was significantly behind Intel, it made huge advancements and is now, arguably right up there, even better than Intel in some cases. It also did this against Nvidia in PC gaming GPUs, where it's now, highly competitive with Nvidia, where Nvidia once dominated the PC graphics industry for gaming especially. So AMD has a history of making great progress against leaders in an industry where it competes. And investors can be reasonably confident that AMD can do the same here in these data centers optimized for AI. So Nvidia's stock price was down meaningfully today on the back of this news, but I don't think Nvidia stock investors need to panic. I don't think AMD is going to take market share away from Nvidia. I think AMD is still the second option for many of these companies that I mentioned earlier that are building these data centers optimized for AI. It's just that Nvidia's products are sold out, and so they're looking to the second option to purchase some of these GPUs. Also, Nvidia is dominating this industry, as I mentioned, 1.5 million versus 100,000. And that dominance allows Nvidia to extract premium prices and premium terms from these large hyperscalers. And so they're divesting away from Nvidia and giving companies like AMD a chance. They want AMD to succeed so that they can offset the power of Nvidia in the industry and then be able to purchase Nvidia's chips at better prices with better terms because they have AMD to threaten Nvidia with. They can go in and talk to Nvidia and say, "Hey, if you exercise too much pricing power, we're going to go down the street here with AMD." Also, earlier today, we had an announcement from Intel. It's making significant investments trying to play in this industry. Intel has failed to deliver products that compete effectively. It's been losing market share in nearly every category it operates. Overall, great news for AMD stock investors and AI stock investors in general, because the technology is advancing forward, lowering the cost to produce this technology, which is making the technology more accessible to more businesses. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.